The Rocket Review is sponsored by Why Not Saloon.
We're so pleased to bring you an incredible singer, songwriter, actress, and entertainer. She does it all. She's got a new single out and a new show that's out on tour. Rae Radick, it's nice to have you in.
Thank you so much for having me, Eric.
You know, I feel like I know you after watching all the videos with all of your shows and everything, but also your new single, Why I Did It. Mm-hmm. Congratulations. I was on your Spotify page, but it's interesting too on it, Rae, to where your previous album that you launched back in 2021 has a lot of listens on there with all of your songs. But how did this new song come about?
This new song came about because I love what I did with my first album. So I went my first album is a little bit of everything. We have a little bit of pop country, we have some acoustics, we have a little R&B. And so for this one, I wanted to do something very fun and pop and like something for spring. So I feel like with this song, it's perfect because we have a March release date, and it's one of those songs that you listen to if you're in the car, on the way to a workout, or you're just taking a stroll in the sunlight. So it's very fun and upbeat.
Well, and I've got to hand it to you also, Rae, to where your music, going through your whole catalog, which so many of your songs, we're going to talk about your soundtrack also song, but it's like they showcase your style, but you bring so many different styles of music into your originals, which I think it's neat that you have that going for you with your original music based here in Nashville now, but also you have your own show also, Iconic Women of Music Tour, which is touring the entire country, probably international eventually, but it's like to where with that show, you're doing Dolly Parton, Cher, Janis Joplin, Tina Turner. It's like, how do you juggle all that, Rae? You
know what? I wish the answer was it's really hard, but it's very easy for me. Maybe because I get bored very easily, I love being able to do a bunch of songs or a bunch of women and a bunch of different genres in one show. That keeps things exciting for me as a person and an artist. And so I noticed when I would do certain shows that the more diverse that I kept it, the more people were engaged, and that's what they wanted.
Right.
So I just kind of kept tabs on it. And then when I created Iconic Women of Music, I already knew. I was like, I know these artists are the best. I know these songs are the most catchy, and so it was a little bit more of like past experience, but also part of my personality, which is let's keep it fun and diverse, because sometimes when you just do one thing for 2 hours, it's boring. Well,
and I've got to hand it to you also, Rae, watching your performances, and I know you've got so many shows coming up all over the country, and there's going to be a lot more, probably even in Vegas, as we were talking about, but it's like, how many different outfit changes do you have? Because you're changing, you've got so many different women you're covering, which I think is so great too. We were talking before we came in studio of empowering women and showing strong women performers, and your voice sounds incredible. I think Shania Twain is one of your best, but obviously Rae is your best. But you know what I'm saying? It's how do you choose these?
Ooh, that's a wonderful question. So to go back to your first question, we have two shows. We offer a 90-minute show and a 2-hour show. So the 90-minute is about 13 costume changes. The 2-hour show is up to 18.
Oh my gosh!
And I do it all myself. I was dancing since I was 3, so I'm very used to it. I was.
Yes.
So I'm used to the competition costume changes and all those things. So we offer 2 different shows with a bunch of different artists with their costumes. And then we were talking about this earlier, and it's so important to me about empowering women. I feel like women are already at that point in our society where we're coming into our own, women are working and they're taking care of themselves, and they don't need a man, they want a man. And there's a difference between the two. And so when I was doing Iconic Women of Music, and I was very careful to select the artists that I did, I wanted to make sure that these were women who absolutely changed the genre. And these are women who knew who they were, and they owned and they accepted who they were. And because they did that, it also empowers other women to do that too, almost like a mirror effect. Right. So I wanted to make sure that the women that I chose also had that kind of groundedness as a part of them, but also look at their catalog.
Right.
Madonna isn't going anywhere.
No.
Cher, people still know Cher. People still talk about Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks, and you were talking about, between multiple instruments, I was going to bring up, you started dancing at 3, you were in dance class, you ended up, in vocal class, you multiple instruments, between piano and guitar. And then I think, was it at 13 or 16, you started writing songs that early?
So I've always written songs. You'll ask my parents. I was always scribbling on napkins and test papers ever since I was a kid. But I never really thought it was I was serious. I thought it was just a hobby or just something that I did. And then when I was 13 years old, my guitar teacher, I was singing in church, and my guitar teacher was like, you're really good. You have a very good ear for melodies and tags. I think you should really lean into being a songwriter.
Wow.
And that's when I really started to say oh, this is a job. Oh, this isn't something that just comes to me. This is something I could do for the rest of my life.
Oh my gosh, but it's so interesting too, even musical theater in college, and then once again, your time in New York where you've acted, and you've done singing and also waitressing. And now living in Nashville for over a year and a half, coming up on 2 years, it seems like Nashville is really the right base for you, particularly with the musicians that you're taking out on tour.
Yeah, I honestly love Nashville, and a lot of people ask me why did I move from New York, because New York is its own world. Everything is in New York. And to be honest with you, there's no songwriting community in New York. People are songwriters, but it's more R&B or it's a little more individualized.
Right.
Whereas Nashville, there's a whole community here, and I really wanted to connect with those types of people. And not only is there a great, strong songwriting community, but they're the best musicians in the world.
Right.
So I decided I wanted to try and explore Nashville for those two reasons. But also, I'm from Pennsylvania. So I'm from the suburbs. I think my graduating class was 300. So I enjoy the suburbs, and I feel like that's where I can really open my mind and my heart to receiving newer songs.
Right.
Because when it's quiet and you can hear the birds and the crickets, you can kind of channel a song. But being in New York City, when there's sirens going off every 5 minutes and there's a party next door and all of these things, it's harder to get that inspiration.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's so impressive, Rae, the way you're still doing your original songs, and you've got your touring show with iconic women of music. But Why I Did It, the single is out now. There's going to be more singles coming about every 3 to 4 months. I want to make sure for our viewers, Rae, that they know website-wise, social media, so that they can check out your original songs, but also come see a live show when you're touring near their city or state. Where do our viewers need to go?
So first and foremost, I am the most active on Instagram. I'm on Instagram every day. You can find me at Rae Radick, RaeRadick. And of course, I'm on Facebook as well. If you have any questions about my upcoming shows and where we're touring, go to my website, raeradick.com. If you're specifically interested in iconic women of music, at my website, you'll see at the very top, it says new show, Iconic Women of Music. Click that. That's where you'll see my show schedule as well. So I try and make it very easy and accessible. And for anyone who wants to listen to my songs, I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all the social media platforms. I always say, you can follow me on the social medias, you just can't follow me home.
I'll tell you what, though, you do want to follow her great music. Check her out on Spotify and all the music platforms. Her new original is so great, Why I Did It. But also, go see Rae and her incredible band live. You're going to love her as much as I do. Incredible songs that you know, and also some awesome originals that you're going to want to add to your playlist. Rae Radick, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Check her out.
The Rocket Review is sponsored by Why Not Saloon.